Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. In my head, I kind of sounded like Lonnie. What's that guy? What's his channel? He's up in far north Alaska. He's an awesome wilderness survival guy. I like the way he talks. All right. Speaking of channels, I recently subscribed to a channel, Tiborosaurus Rex. The bear recommended it, and so far I'm liking it. And today I watched a video this morning over my first cup of coffee. It's early, and I don't even know the guy's name. I mean, I've literally watched about 3 videos so far. But today he was talking about attitude being important, and I agree 100%. But it got me thinking, and so springboard off of that. I say all the time, do the best you can with what you got where you're at. The best you can has a lot to do with attitude. It has to do with physical ability also, but it has to do with attitude. Attitude is huge. I talk about PMA, right? Positive mental attitude. My father, this is going to be a leadership, generally, vlog. My father raised me with several strong precepts. Be a good book, Precepts of My Father. And one of those was, as long as you do the best you can do, you hold your head up. And what he was on guard for was somebody saying that was the best they could do, when in fact they had not put forth their best effort. But if they had, if you put forth your best effort, whatever you did is what you did. Do the best you can with what you got where you're at. Be happy with that. In high school, I was a B to B minus student. That is because my father demanded B's. A C was not acceptable in my house. Bad things followed if you got a C. When my kids were growing up, I demanded A's. And I remember one time my wife said, "You didn't get straight A's." I said, "You're right. But these kids can get straight A's, and they're gonna." And they did. So I just raised the bar on do the best you can, but they met the bar. So there you go. All 3 of my kids were valedictorians. That's right. So I went through life with that attitude. Do the best you can, and if that's all you get, that's all you get. I'm trying to figure out how to segue into this next part, because there's a big but here. I'll just tell you the story. So I took over, I became the commander of my Special Forces detachment, my team. And on a team, you have the captain, who's the commander. You have a warrant officer, who's the second in command of the team. And then you have a team sergeant, who runs the team. And then you have 2 of each type of NCO, weapons, engineer, medical, and commo, communications. And you have a senior and a junior weapons sergeant, commo sergeant, etc. And that's in a perfect world. But when I was in, there were no full teams. Nobody had 12 men on their team. At one point, I had the only 12-man A-team in 1st Special Forces Group. Oh yeah, we took a picture. But, so for the longest time I had one commo guy. And looking back on it, to me, just blows my mind. As long as you do your best, you're okay, right? That was my attitude. And this guy, this commo guy, never made commo. When I say never made commo, praise the Father, we never went to combat under this iteration. We'd go to the field, and he'd have to do a satellite shot somewhere halfway around the world. That's part of what we were doing in the field, and he couldn't get it. You know, the sky gods, the sunspots, the whatever. well, we can't do it. Never made camo. And, but he tried hard. He tried hard. And one day, I was given a warrant officer. We didn't have a warrant officer either. A warrant officer was assigned to my detachment, and my boss's boss pulled me in, and he said, look, I'm pulling you off of your detachment in 2 months, moving you to another job, and this guy is going to be in command of your detachment. We're going to make him the detachment commander, even though he's only a warrant, because like I said, we were short-staffed. And so I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. 6 months ago, this guy was an NCO. Now he's a brand new warrant officer, and in 2 months, he's going to be commanding a detachment. So I pulled him aside and I talked to him. Big John. He came from a special unit, and that is why my battalion commander liked him. He talked like this, and I told him, hey, you're going to be detachment commander in 2 months. My job is not to train you to be the warrant officer on this detachment. It's to train you to be the commander. He didn't like that. He said, I'd kind of like to learn how to do my job before I have to learn how to do your job. I don't blame him. But anyway, we went on some field problems, and my camo guy never made camo. And we got a junior camo guy. He always made camo. And one day when we were getting ready to go to lunch, we had a little dance we'd do, the three adults on the team leader, the warrant officer, and the team sergeant. Team sergeant would say, all right, it's time to go to lunch, and everybody would leave, and then the three of us would sit there, and then if 2 of us or 3 of us needed to have adult conversation, we'd excuse the other one, we have it. And so as just the 3 of us are there, we talked about whatever we need to talk about, and then my warrant officer looked at my team sergeant and said, we'll see you over there, Jerry, which is code for get out of here, I need to talk to the captain. Well, the commo guy was still hanging out, and he had really bad social skills. He was just hanging out. And so my warrant officer looks at him and goes, you can go. And he's doing his thing, and he leaves. And he waited till the door shut. My warrant officer did. He looked down he's looking down at his desk. And our desks face each other. And he looks up, and he said, when you're gone, he's gone. And the week he took over command of that detachment, he fired the senior commo guy, sergeant. I thought about that. Now, there were lots of other things involved here, which I don't have time to go into. But I thought about that a lot. And then I realized that I had exercised poor leadership in that regard. For a year, I had allowed this guy, who despite trying hard, great attitude, couldn't do his job. And I could have potentially really let the detachment down, the team down, by not addressing that. Man, I thought about that long and hard because I don't like failure. I hate personal failure. I hate it. It motivates me to never do that again. And I thought about that. And sometimes the best you can do the best you can with what you got where you're at, is not good enough. And as a leader, and potentially you are or will be a leader, we have to understand that our job as leaders is to get the job done. In the military, we say leaders do 2 things, or focus on 2 things. Mission first, men always. Mission first, men always. Well, sometimes that can be a paradox. We have to take out that machine gun bunker right there. Mission first, take out that machine gun bunker. Men always. Well, taking out that machine gun bunker, somebody could get injured or die. Mission first, men always. Sometimes good attitude is not enough. And again, as a leader, we have to address that. Now, you look at the average HR department, if someone makes a mistake, they get counseled on it to one degree or another. Usually it's put on paper and, go and sin no more. And then you have to provide, as the HR department or the company, additional training, right? Okay, obviously you didn't understand this, and so you give additional training. And there's something to that. Perhaps the reason the person with good attitude is still failing, people don't like that word, failing to perform their job adequately is because they were never properly instructed or supervised, or you haven't given them the tools, the materials, the people to get their job done. In that case, it's not their fault, it's your fault as the leader, as their supervisor. So you have to ensure they have everything. But believe me when I tell you, a Special Forces Detachment Communications Sergeant, the commo sergeant, has all the tools he needs, right? Your tax dollars at work. And he has had all the training he needs. And so I screwed that one up. And I've learned from it since. People have to perform the job they're given. Take the hill. I don't want to hear how you didn't get a good night's sleep last night. Go take the hill. Almost reverted to Army speak there. Added a couple extra words. So what to do as leaders? Ensure your people who are responsible for tasks have all the tools they need. But if they can't do it, and they have adequate tools, and again, that's people, adequate resources, you're going to have to find something else for them to do, or move them to something else. Yeah, find something else for them to do, or send them down the road. Another trait for leadership is knowing where to put your people. Who does what? Here's a concept a lot of civilians don't get. Who does what is up to the leader, not the person. At the end of the day, it's the leader's responsibility to say, yep, okay, you can do that. Not, I'll just go ahead and take care of this. I'll wipe down the tables. Well, actually, what I need you to do is go dig a ditch. Whatever. What I need you to do is go fix the radio, stick with the commo theme. But I really like cleaning tables. I know, but you're the only one who knows how to fix the radio, and we need the radio fixed, so go fix the radio. Right? Leaders have to put people in places. Something else my father taught me. I was just getting ready to go. I'd been through my training, or maybe I was in the middle of training. I don't know at what point it was. It was before I took over my platoon, and as a second lieutenant of infantry, the first thing you do is get like a 32-man-ish, depends on what unit you're in, platoon of men that you lead. Now, as a second lieutenant platoon leader, you've been in the Army all of about, I don't know, I think less than a year at that point. West Pointers will say, I was in for 4 years. You weren't really in the Army. I don't care what they say. But, you know, you have no real-world experience. You only have schoolhouse experience. And now you're in charge of these guys. Some of these guys have been in the military for 17 years, been to combat 45 times, and you're their boss, right? You got nothing. And my dad told me one day, because when I was in, a rifle platoon had 2 machine guns with crews for each one that were in the platoon. And my dad said, you know what, son? You don't have to be the best machine gunner in your platoon, meaning me as the platoon leader, me as the leader. You have to know who is, and you have to know how to properly use them. That was really good advice, too. Now, having said that, that's not an excuse to rest on your laurels and go, I'm the platoon leader, I don't need to know how to use a machine gun. Or I'm the supervisor, I don't have to know how to run the, what do they call those things in office space, the TSP report or something like that. I don't have to know how to do that, I have people to do that. No, you should really strive to be the best one in your organization at everybody else's job. You should strive. Now, given a specialist job like Special Forces, there's no way the detachment commander is going to be the best at medical, the best at commo, the best at, blah, 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 blah. You're just not. But dang, you better be really good. And you better strive to be better than the other guys at it. So like, you should be better at medical than your weapons sergeant. You should strive for that. You're probably not going to be, because he's been doing this game for, like I said, 10, 12 years, and he's had lots of medical training and experience, and you're still brand new. But you should strive, right? You should try to master. You should try to master attitude, all the sub-skills under you. You should definitely know what everybody's job is. They can't snow you. That's why women it used to be I need more coffee. A thing people said. That's a terrible word choice. That's not necessarily true, but it is true. Why women get taken advantage of by mechanics so much. Yeah, your headlight fluid's low. Gonna have to replace that. It's $40 a light. We'll give you 10% off. Okay. Stuff like that, because they just don't know anything about it. You should strive to know a little bit about it. So let's not go off track. Let's get back. Attitude counts. I used to say, in Special Forces again, I like guys who like their job. My weapons sergeant had an arsenal of personally owned firearms. I mean, he just had everything known to man because he liked his job. I've told this story here before. My engineer sergeant, they build things and blow things up. He liked the blowing things up part. He would design, like some people doodle, he would design bombs. We're in a boring meeting, he'd be designing a bomb with like the impossible to override, dead man switch on it or whatever. I had a junior commo guy that moved into the barracks. Most SF guys don't live in the barracks, but he did. And he sought and got permission to hang a ham radio antenna on the side of the barracks because he was really in the ham radio, commo guy. I like people who like their job, attitude, right? Now, that was leadership. You have to hold your people to standards. To standards. If they don't meet the standard, try to get them help. If they still don't meet the standard, get rid of them. That doesn't mean shoot them in the head and throw them in the trash pile. It means don't let them do that job because you're letting everybody else down. That's in a perfect world. What about an imperfect world? What about your MAG, your crew? Again, another story that I've told before. On the cover of my book, Survivalist Family, Prepared Americans for a Strong America, by Joe Fox. On the cover of my book, there's a woman, there's a family. And the mom of the family went to my church, and she worked in a dentist office, or an orthodontist office. She tightened the wires on braces. And I told her, because our whole church got into preparedness, and I started assigning, encouraging, suggesting, whatever words you want to use, jobs for people. And I told her, when this all goes down, you're our dentist. And she said, ho, I'm not a dentist. All I do is tighten wires. And I said, woman's name, it's either you exercising whatever skill you have, or it's me with a pair of vice grips and a bottle of whiskey. She said, I'll do it. Sometimes that's the best you can do. I'm doing the best I can with what I have, where I'm at. You're our dentist. It's not like if the dentist isn't up to American Dental Association standards, you fire her. Who are you going to replace her with? The mechanic? Her husband was a mechanic. You think he'd be a better dentist? I don't know. They replace parts. I don't know, right? You gotta use the best people you can. So sometimes you have to accept it. But in an elite organization, and I submit that you should all try to make your crew an elite organization. In an elite organization, expertness is expected. And I have found, as with the story with my children getting straight A's, people will generally, assuming quality, decent people, they will rise to the level of expectation you put on them. Most people, including me, can do more. Demand it of them. Encourage it from them. Whatever leadership style you want to use. People usually do better than you think they can at things. But they, bringing it back again, have to have proper attitude. You have to have a good attitude. You have to try. You have to want to be better. You have to not be accepting of mediocrity in yourself or others. All right, we've gone a little bit long, but things to think about as we're going forward. Attitude's important. Somebody trying the best they can is good. But from a leadership perspective, sometimes that's not good enough. And you got to get more out of your people. The mission, Pete Blaber wrote a book on that. The Mission and the Men. That's what he called it. And that's really where he got his title from. Mission first, men always. All right. Think about these things. I'm interested in what you think. Down below in the comments. Hey, no links. Don't post links in the comments. Come on. You guys know better than that. All right. I'll see you out there.